Anyway, they had Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander in the Owen Hart Tournament female division. I'm sure Owen would be pleased. And then we got to the Chris Jericho segment. And Bryan, have you heard that apparently old Chris Jericho is taking some time off? It may be time for a break just to make sure that his gimmick isn't getting worn out. What the... we'll talk about a couple different things, but the idea that he was the Ring of Honor champion, even though he was the antithesis of everything that the Ring of Honor fan base, big, small, good, bad, or indifferent, would have ever looked for in the Ring of Honor world champion, was because since he had a name, Tony was shopping a TV deal for Ring of Honor, right? That was the reasoning, that he's a big name and it would help get a TV deal. Well, he just lost the Ring of Honor belt and now he's taking time off. I think that sounds like it's bad news for the Ring of Honor TV deal. And didn't Tony Khan already said he's not gonna do business with somebody outside the WBD umbrella? So what did he think, that they were going to put another show of his, Ring of Honor, on one of their networks when the numbers for what he had were dropping? You're broke up over the Ring of Honor world title situation, aren't you?
I can't explain Tony's
Your head. There's little Tweety birds just wandering like me, just circling around your head. What is happening here?
I don't think there's anyone who was involved in Ring of Honor in any of the previous owners, under any of the previous owners, or anyone who followed it who thinks Tony's doing a good job with it or has any idea what he's doing with it.
Well, Jericho was in the ring for this one. And it was the TV time with the learning tree set, and he's got the trees and he's got the monitor. And I haven't enjoyed watching Jericho come out since he dropped Judas. At least we could hear the song. I'm becoming irrelevant in the ring. So Jericho was kind of morose that he lost the Ring of Honor title, but he was, unfortunately penalized by the assistance of the stooge mother of Bandito. And he has his family, but I have mine, and I want to bring my family out right now. And he introduced Big Bill and Bryan Keith. And Jericho starts prefacing by saying, well, you guys didn't win the tag team title either, and Big Bill shut him up. And Bryan, you saw this interview, right? Did you pay any attention, or did it just kind of fly by you like a lot of the Jericho
stuff?
No,
I watched this. I wanted to see if this was going to be the big turn for Big Bill and Bryan Keith, where they'd become baby faces sick of Chris Jericho. And for a minute, I thought it may happen.
Well, thankfully it didn't, because if they never replay any of this again, Big Bill should find all the copies of the tape and burn it. Big Bill is, if this was his effort to try to do a breakthrough promo, he had the material here. He had the potential passion behind it. He had the reasoning for it. There was he memorized this and he recited it. He was neither comfortable nor was there any kind of delivery. He was trying to speak like a college professor and enunciate everything, talking like a robot. No emotion, no inflection, no cadence. But if we are out here so you can berate us, then let me know right now and I can leave. That even said, I've been getting real angry as of late. This 7-foot fucking long-haired goddamn giant Greg Allman looking motherfucker, whatever. He wouldn't speak like that. He sounds like Kenny. Sounds like a fucking soft putz. And he did this interview instead of telling Jericho we're sick and tired of this shit, he was polite to him. Instead of saying, we're not going to be browbeaten by you anymore, he's like, well, we'll just leave if we have to stand here and take this abuse. It's like, this is the fucking 7-foot ass kicker. Looking at it in that perspective, Did this or did this not suck donkey balls?
No, this was not good. I didn't say it was good.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't think it was a breakthrough performance or anything. But then Jericho calmly said, "That's not why I brought you out here. I care about you. I want to help you. Your victories are mine and your failures are mine." And then he starts working himself up. And of course, he says, "Some may say that I lost the Ring of Honor World title because, Big Bill, you weren't there for me. Some might even say it's your fault. But I'm not saying that. I'm not angry." And now Jericho's auditioning for the next independent movie here with this emotional roller coaster of a scene. "I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed." And that's what he repeats then over and over. "I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed," while he's smashing the TV with the baseball bat. You know, these new flat screens that are only like an inch thick, they don't really fucking break and bust up like those old fashioned TVs did. It just kind of
It takes effort.
crinkles up and just, it doesn't really go anywhere. There's nothing inside it to fly out of it. But nevertheless, he beat the TV up with the bat, and he really got a pop when he got bleeped for something. And then he told him that until you change that me being disappointed, it might be best that I leave. And the fans, of course, start singing "Sha-na-na-na, hey, 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 goodbye," from the great group Sha-na-na. And did you hear as Jericho was leaving, as he's going down the aisleway right at the entranceway? You can clear as day hear some fan go, "Suck on a maple leaf, buddy."
What a goodbye.
So yeah, but that was that. A comment on that, and then what are we hearing about this interview Jericho's doing where he's saying he's open to returning to the WWE?
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's very open to it. We'll see where it goes. Jericho's been there a long time. Jericho has had more opportunity to do more of his own stuff than most people. Tony's a big Chris Jericho fan going back to his teenage years. You would think in some ways Chris Jericho may be set for life in AEW, even though the work is not there. The angles, the promos, the ideas, the programs, everything from like A to Z has been pretty shitty from him, including guys that he did not help, who never really gained anything from working with Chris Jericho. It just kept Chris Jericho in a prominent position on TV.
Come on, Action Andretti is the new Sting.
Would WWE want him for any reason at this point right now other than to just take AEW's first world champion and someone who was such a big part of AEW?
Well, but hold on here, because he did an interview, and this was with one of the wrestling entity publications or sites or whatever, right? But he said he would be willing to go back to the WWE, or he'd be happy staying in AEW. Basically, it's the cover all bases and answer everything. He was giving I would evaluate any offer at any situation and do what's best for me. That's why I've reinvented myself so much. So he's basically saying, I'll do anything that ends up the best thing for me to do. But didn't he just announce a couple of years ago, because we were talking about it and laughing about it, that he signed a 10-year contract? Not only he, but Tony announced, signed a 10-year contract, because we were laughing. He'll be 62. So unless Tony was to let him out of that contract, which at some point he may very well want to, then he wouldn't be able to go back to the WWE. When he's 62 years old, he might get inducted in the Hall of Fame. That will come to a point somewhere down the road. But right now, I would have to think that there would probably be, unless the personal aspect comes into it, all things being equal, I don't know how he left him or what the relationship is. But if I was the WWE, I'd say if we can get Chris Jericho to do 5 matches in the next couple of years, it would be a pay-per-view, WrestleMania, whatever. It would might be worth doing something of a reasonable amount of money and merchandise and etc. And some television appearances where he wasn't wrestling. But I think just for the nostalgia value, I don't know at this point. Punk is a nostalgia run almost at this point, and he's 10 years younger than Jericho. So would they want to put Jericho in a position where the people would see through it because he's wrestling even once or twice a month? I think it would have to be a limited thing. If it was interest on their part, they wouldn't start building a regular talent, and regular now being once or twice a week. They wouldn't start building Jericho at this age as a regular talent for a 2 or 3 year contract. I can't see that.
Well, we'll follow this story and see what happens. And if there's anything more to say, we'll say it on the drive-through. But it certainly didn't leave Big Bill and Brian Keith looking like anything.
Oh, it left them looking like something. I've seen a lot of what it left them looking like in the middle of the road after the parade goes by.